and welcome to Hanging by a Thread. My name is Ailsa and this is a channel where I discuss the ins and outs of my knitting. I hope you'll hang with me today as we discuss some knitting, my works in progress, and we can have a cozy chat together as hopefully you get some progress on your projects too. Before we jump in today, I will share what I am wearing. This is the Brighten Sweater. Brighten as in get lighter, not brighten as in the place. I'll link that in the notes below so it's clear. The Brighten Sweater by Sarah Opie. This is something that I finished recently. This was a test knit I was working on in November, December, and I wrapped it up in January. So this is a kind of more recent finished object. I do have a project vlog about this, the process of making this sweater coming up, and just working on editing all the footage together. So look out for that if you want to hear more about this project. But today I wanted to kind of check in and talk to you about my works in progress. At one point in time, I was doing pretty well at getting WIP Wednesday videos out, but it's been quite a while since I've done one of those. I think with kind of like all the end of year and like, I don't know, like reflection videos, I just haven't had time to sit down and chat to you about what's on my needles. Just like kind of that more simple check-in video about what I'm actually working on in a while. So I thought it'd be fun to do that. But I thought I'd do a little bit of a deeper look today. We're going to do what I'm calling a WIP audit. This was inspired by Nat of, I believe her channel is Nat Tinks and Frogs. So she's doing a series on her YouTube channel this month around, again, I'm going to put all this in the show notes down below, but I think it's Finish It, Frog It, Fix It February. So she's doing kind of a challenge around getting all of her WIPs into one of those categories. I've done a video like that in the past, like a frog or finish video, and this is kind of similar to that, but it's also just to like kind of refamiliarize myself with, wait, what do I actually have on the needles? Like, what's in hibernation? What's the state of everything that I have as a current WIP? What am I going to do with it? So yeah, kind of a check-in on just my WIPs and what I've been working on, but also looking at some things that haven't been touched in a while and sharing some of those and what I'm planning on doing with them. So that's the plan for today. So let's just jump in. I think I'm going to start with my active WIPs, and we'll do a little tally as we go. I'm actually going to pull up my laptop. Sorry, my energy is a little bit chaotic this morning, but hopefully it won't feel too much like that when it's all edited together. So I've just pulled up my Ravelry so I can check whether I do have any WIPs or hibernating projects that are on here that either have been finished or have been frogged, or you know, if I've forgotten about them completely, I can kind of think, wait, where is that even? So I've got this here, and so we can kind of keep account of what I actually have as an active WIP right now. So we'll start with my active WIPs. I'm going to put this laptop right here and then we can refer back to it if need be. The first WIP I have to show you is something that you've not seen before. In fact, I think all of my active WIPs you haven't seen before, which again goes to show for how long it's been since I've sat down and done one of these. So this is a really fun project. This is the Eun Sweater by November Knits. And this I'm actually making as a sample knit. So I connected with Lindsay of Hello Stella Fibers. She is a local to me dyer, and she was looking for people to do sample knits. And sample knitting is something I've been kind of interested in as an idea. I just love the idea of connecting with independent dyers, of having projects to do that don't necessarily have to be ones that, you know, I'm gonna hold on to. There's a limit to how many sweaters one person needs. Obviously a chance to work with yarn that I might otherwise not have had the chance to work with. And so I connected with her when she was putting a call out around wanting some sample knitters, and I was selected, and she chose the pattern, she sent me the yarn, and this is how it's working up. So you can see, so this pattern is a raglan, and it's a worsted weight, I believe, and its main features are that it has this 2x2 rib with this like very lovely dramatic 2x2 detailing on the raglan lines, and then it has a very high split hem with a lot of 2x2 ribbing to finish the sweater. So your split hem happens about, I would say, maybe 10 centimeters under the split first sleeves, and then the rest of the body is in that 2x2 rib. So you can see I've done the front of the sweater where it splits. I still need to do the back. I finished one sleeve and I'm about halfway through a second sleeve. So I'm making really good progress on this. This is in, I forget the name of the base. Okay, it's her worsted weight based. It's a woolen spun. It's this like incredibly bouncy, rustic, but not, I wouldn't say like overly scratchy. I have quite a reasonable tolerance for wool, but so your mileage may vary, but it doesn't feel overly scratchy to me, but it definitely is on the rustic side. It's Canadian milled, and it's in this beautiful rich green color. I think the colorway is unnamed as of yet. So yeah, it's been really fun to work with this yarn that I haven't worked with before, that has all of these cool properties. Yeah, I've been really enjoying working on this. So yeah, I would say so far the knitting experience has been really positive, or the sample knitting experience has been really positive. Yeah, anything else to say about this? Oh, I will say the one thing that, I mean, I should have maybe known that this would be kind of something to look out for. One of the skeins of yarn that was sent to me was fairly significantly darker than the others. And I think because when I started knitting, everything was like very consistent. The first couple of skeins I used were very consistent. I hadn't been doing helical knitting, even though if you work with indie dyed yarn a lot, which I don't particularly, which is also probably why I didn't think about it, you know that doing something to manage the natural inconsistencies in the small batch dyeing process is a good idea. So I did have to at one point rip back so that I could start doing some more helical knitting, so I didn't have a really heavy color block kind of the darker to lighter yarn. You can kind of see where, if I bring it up close maybe, yeah, you can probably see where I start blending in that darker skein and start doing more of that helical knitting. There is a little bit of a line that I think you can see where that's happening. Unfortunately, I don't think there was a way for me to really avoid that completely, because this one skein was quite a lot darker than the others, so I think wherever it had ended up, it was going to be kind of visibly different. But I think now it's much less noticeable, especially kind of in the whole garment. If you look very closely, I think it's more evident. I hope so anyway. I hope. I did obviously check in with the dyer about this and like kind of my plan. So I hope that she'll be satisfied with how I've managed it. So yeah, that was the one challenge with this, but really it wasn't that much of a challenge. It just meant ripping back. And at first I was like, oh, like I didn't even notice for a while, and it's very dependent on the light. And so at first I hadn't even realized, so I'd actually got like some of the way through this bottom ribbing, and then I ripped up back to the armhole split to make sure I had the longest possible way, like space to kind of blend it in. So it did mean I'm doing a lot of work, but this is on a worsted weight gauge, so it's not too difficult to, or it doesn't take too long to knit it back up. And yeah, I'm making really good progress. I think it's entirely possible that I could finish this by the end of this week. So I think doing this sleeve is probably another evening of knitting, and then doing this kind of like long hemline on the back is probably like 3 or 4 days, so I think it's possible that I'll get this wrapped up this week and then it can go back to Lindsay and hopefully she'll be pleased with it. But yeah, really fun project. I don't know if I would make one of these for myself. I don't know if it's my style particularly, but it is a really lovely pattern, and I'll be interested to see how this blocks out, because in some ways this feels like a little bit bulky right now, but I'm imagining that this might kind of soften up quite a lot and drape a bit more when it's blocked. The other thing to say about this is I have been working on it completely to pattern because it is this sample knit, so I've made no modifications whatsoever other than needle size in order to make sure the gauge is correct. So that is the Eun Sweater. Okay, the next WIP I'm working on is a beanie. I actually already made one of these, but it ended up too big to make for me, so I gave it to a friend. This is the Rivalry Beanie because my current, and like for a little while now, obsession has been heated Rivalry, and I can't remember the designer name. Is it? I can't remember. Let's see. Skeiny Dipping. I knew it was a great punny name. So Skeiny Dippy put out a Rivalry beanie pattern. So if you don't know Heated Rivalry, please go and watch it. just trust me. But Heated Rivalry is a TV show about 2 hockey players who fall in love, and this beanie takes their jersey numbers and puts them onto a beanie, and it's reversible, so it allows you to have one side be for the character Ilya and the other side to be for the character Shane. So I am currently working on my Rivalry beanie number 2 because the first one was too big for me because I did not gauge swatch, and I should have known that because recently my gauge has been a lot looser than it used to be, I guess. I should have known that I probably needed to go down a needle size, so it ended up bigger, but luckily my friend, who is equally, actually more obsessed than I am with the show, it fit her head, so perfect. Yeah, now I'm making a version for me because I had plenty of yarn left over from the first beanie. So you can see I've knit the first crown and embroidered duplicate stitched on the 81 for Ilya. I'm now working on the middle section. These are the brims that fold up, and then on the other side will be blue with a 24 for Shane's jersey number. This is constructed in the same kind of way as the Musselburgh hat is, so that you're knitting a long tube and then it kind of folds into itself, which is going to make a really, really warm hat, really cozy. Yeah, I don't know that I have anything else to say about this except like it's so fun to do fandom knitting. I don't think I've ever done a fandom knit before, but I'm getting a lot of joy from it. I do recognize that my duplicate stitch is not the neatest in the world. It's a new skill to me. I'm not particularly skilled in any kind of embroidery. There you go. I did also, the one edit I made to the pattern or modification is I added in a yellow gold border for Ilya's number, which is not true to the design of his jersey, but it does get in the Boston Raiders yellow that is part of his jersey that isn't otherwise in this beanie. So even though his jersey number isn't bordered in the show, I like that nod to the Boston colors. So I love this. I think it's going to be, 1, practical because it's super cozy and it has been frigid here this winter, and 2, just shows off my love for Heated Rivalry, which honestly, like, I cannot tell you enough how much I endorse this show. Like I was saying to my friend, the same friend I gave the first beanie to the other day, like I actually think this might be like the perfect show. So anyway, if you would love to geek out with me about Heated Rivalry, please come talk to me. I am here for it. I'm ready for it. And speaking of Heated Rivalry related knitting, I have another more recent cast on that is also going to be themed around Heated Rivalry. This is the very start of the Loon Sweater by CM Knits. There is currently a make a loon or a knit a loon for the Loon Sweater. So I partly cast this on because of that knit along, but also, again, for those of you who know, the loon plays an important role in heated rivalry. So I am calling this my stupid Canadian wolfbird sweater. And so this is a drop shoulder construction that has a colorwork motif across the chest of some loons. Again, this is a reference to something in the show, and I like the idea of making this, like, the other piece is like a very like direct connection to heated rivalry, but this is going to be a kind of more subtle nod to the show, and it'll be kind of like if you know you know kind of thing. I'm not very far into this at all because I have been focusing on the sample knit, but once I have finished my sample knit, I'll probably be moving on to this as more of my main kind of WIP for now, possibly also casting on something else. I have some socks I want to cast on. But this is going to kind of move up in the rankings. And it's just been, yeah, and again, fun to kind of think about the connection it has and like how much I'm just enjoying being in that fandom right now. So those are the 3 WIPs that I've been actively working on in recent weeks. There are some other WIPs that I'm still counting as active, but are actually maybe a little bit hibernating right now. So we have 3 active WIPs, and these 2 are they're not fully hibernating, but they're taking a little bit of a timeout, maybe. Let's put it that way. They're not hibernating, they're in timeout. So let's pull those up. These will be familiar if you have caught my previous WIP Wednesday updates or watched the channel in kind of more recent months. So the first one is the Fidalgo Cardigan, which is looking in pretty much a similar state to the last time you saw it. I have just been very slowly, very gradually adding the length to the body. It hasn't really changed that much. And what I realized, so I got the sample knit, which obviously then I had a deadline for and I needed to work on. I had originally hoped that I was going to complete this by the end of January, but when I got the sample knit, I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen. And I just think because this has been on my needles for so long, let me double check, how long has it been? Okay, I casted this on September 10th. So it really has been on the needles for quite a long time now. And I think I've just kind of like my enthusiasm has like waned because it's taking so long. And so I had the sample knit, I had the excitement of the heated Rivalry beanie and now the Loon Sweater. And I was also working on some socks for my daughter. So there was like some other projects that were kind of just taking precedence. And so my enthusiasm levels were low. So the plan I've come up for getting this one done is I am taking a trip in March, and I am going to bring this as my project. So I'm going away for 2 weeks to visit family in Europe, and I'm going to bring this as my project, my going away project, and hopefully get it done, or at least significantly progress towards done while I'm away. And I think that will really help. So I've just guilt-free put this away for the time being, letting myself work on other things and knowing that I have a plan for when I'm going to work on this. So this is going to come away with me and be my travel project. So that's kind of made me feel a bit better about, okay, I have a plan for getting this done. It's not done yet. It's not done when I hoped it would be, but I do have a plan for it. So that's kind of made me feel better about putting it to one side. I do still really love this. I do still really want this finished object. It's just the process is feeling less fun because I've let it drag on so long. And that's a really good thing for me to learn, that I guess I don't like having really drawn out WIPs that I'm working on for a long period of time. I do actually quite like to maybe move through things a little bit more quickly because I can lose steam quite easily. So that's worth knowing. So yeah, that's but that's how it's looking. So that's the plan for the Fidalgo cardigan. So that's my first timeout project, which will be coming back in March. And the next one, which again you will recognize if you have been here for a while, is my Thru Lines, which again is in a very similar category to the Fidalgo. You can see here I have a little progress keeper. This is where I was the last time I showed this on the channel, so I've got a good couple of inches done since then. But it's still in the increasing phase, still still taking its sweet time. Not done. I'd hope to have it done in January. I don't really know what the plan is with this one. I've put it aside because I just don't have the energy to focus on it right now. I think I might have to accept that it's not going to get done for this winter. I do still want to make it. I think I've put in a lot of energy so far. I think the trouble with this one is it's not mindless enough, and it's not for me to just like kind of use it as, you know, distraction knitting, but it's also not involved in the way that I like to be involved if I'm doing a more kind of like complicated knit. It's repetitive enough to not be a real focus project, but not mindless enough to be a mindless project. But I still think it will be really lovely, and I think maybe once I finish the sample knit, I'll bring this back into kind of rotation. That might be a good thing to do. And the last time I talked about this, a lot of people kind of were like, you know, set a goal of doing half an hour a day or something like that. And I think I might need to do that kind of approach for this project in order to get it done. So I think maybe once I finish the sample knit, this will become, I'm going to spend half an hour a day on it until it's done kind of project. And that might help it get some forward momentum and finally become a finished object, hopefully for next autumn or winter. Okay, so if you're keeping track at home, we have 3 active WIPs, 2 in timeout, and now we're going to find out how many are in full-on hibernation. Let's take a look. Okay, when I look at my Ravelry, I have a hibernating project here for the Simple Things scarf, which I was making out of some red yarn to match a hat I made last year. I'm almost certain that I ripped the needles out of that. I don't know where it is. I think it might be upstairs somewhere. I'm pretty sure I ripped the needles out because I needed them for something else. We're just going to go ahead and call that one frogged. Whenever I find it again, I'm going to frog it. I have no desire to go back to it in this moment. So that one we're taking off the list. That is, I'm changing the status right now. Okay, the next thing I have to show you, and this was on my Frog or Finish It last year, and since then I have touched it not at all, this is a Cumulus Tee O-neck, incredibly badly crushed from being stuffed in a drawer. I just accept, I have come to the conclusion I'm not gonna finish this t-shirt. Even if I wanted to go back and knit this, I just know, like, so this was worked on primarily in the summer of, gosh, what even year was it? Okay, I started this in the summer of July 2024. So I haven't worked on this since the summer of 2024. I just know my gauge has changed. Yeah, I just know that so much has changed that if I go back and start trying to knit on it again, it won't look right. And I just don't want to pick this back up again. I just have no interest in restarting this project. So this one is going to get frogged, and I'm going to integrate the yarn into my stash and come up with a new project for it, because it is really beautiful yarn. Let me show you. It is Sorella yarn, the silk sock, so it's 50% silk, 50% merino. It's in the colorway The Queen from their Netflix collection, which I think I got this in 2023. So this has been in my stash for a while as well. So it's really beautiful yarn that I am going to want to use for something. I'm going to look for some other projects that might suit it. And yeah, but this project is going to be frogged. So yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. I feel really good about that, and about saying, about moving on from this being a hibernating WIP for, you know, a year and a half now. I'm ready to say goodbye to it and find something new to do with this yarn. It could also be really fun to think of this for kind of something for the spring, I was just thinking. So maybe it might turn into something new sooner rather than later. And I think I might sit and frog this after this video. So there's that. We have here the start of a Habitation Throw. Is that what it's called? Habitation blanket? Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart. I started this in 2023 with a scrappy advent I did in an exchange. I am also going to frog this. I don't have any interest in continuing it, and I'm just going to add this all to my scrap basket. So this is going to get frogged as well. It's going to leave hibernation and get frogged. I think this might be a frogging day. And then this is a Musselburgh that I started. I think this was maybe also 2023, and it was in my frog or finish last year. I decided to keep it and thought I might work on it, and I didn't, and I'm going to frog it. And because, again, the same kind of issues that my gauge I know will have changed so much. So I'm just going to say goodbye to this. It can be socks, it can be something else. But it's not going to be this Musselburgh hat. I'm just going to say goodbye to it. I think I don't even really like the idea of these colors in a hat anymore. It's really lovely yarn. It's from Midnight Cravings, and I think it's called Pandemonium, the yarn color. It's this lovely speckly yarn, but I just don't fancy it as, I don't like see it as a hat. So I think I might turn these into some socks, and that will be wonderful. And yeah, I can just say goodbye to this and reclaim these needles, which apparently have been here since 2023. So yeah, I'm just going to let this one go. So yeah, I guess what I've concluded here is that all 4 of my hibernating WIPs actually are just going to be frogged, and I'm going to reintegrate them into my stash to become something new. So that feels good. I do in fact have one more WIP that isn't on my Ravelry, and I'm not going to go get and show you because it's kind of big and unwieldy. I have a crochet project that I keep in my office, which is in the basement, which I just like dabble on every now and then. It's barely even a WIP. It's going to be a blanket for my kid. It's with colourful rainbow yarn. But yeah, I don't even really consider it a WIP. It's more like I just kind of pick it up now and then. So that's one more thing I kind of have going, but not even really. So we can say there's like the extra special bonus WIP that lives down there. So yeah, that is everything. That is everything that's currently on my needles and about to be frogged. A lot of frogging to sit and do here this morning. But yeah, thank you for coming along and doing a little WIP audit with me. I hope to be doing some more regular check-ins of my works in progress over the next few weeks, as well as sharing this project blog with you. And yeah, would love to just keep checking in with you. What have you been working on recently? What is the state of your WIPs looking like? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss future videos. These also help other knitters like you to find this channel and really help me out as I try and grow this channel. So I do really appreciate anything that you do on that front. And otherwise, happy knitting. I hope you're staying cozy. I hope you have projects that are bringing you joy, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.